very warm welcome to you today from the Sangha house here in Taunton. My name's Warwick Lydiate and I'm talking about the Enneagram. If you've been enjoying these little talks on the Enneagram over the past few weeks, you might like to like the channel and subscribe to the Sangha house YouTube channel. You will find a host of various videos on a host of various subjects, all connected with health, fitness and well-being. Well worth a look. If you're in the Taunton area, please drop in and say hi to the folk here. See what you might do to improve your own fitness and well-being and health generally. If you're elsewhere in the world, do have a look at the website, the Sangha House website. See what things there might interest you in the health and well-being, on the health and well-being subject. I'm here to talk about the Enneagram, which is a strange word. It's a Greek word meaning figure of 9. And the Enneagram, as we've seen, is a device to show 9 different personality types. I believe, as we shall see, that it does an awful lot more than that. Over these weeks at the moment, we're looking at the 9 types in kind of little thumbnail sketch, in a thumbnail sketch kind of way. As these expand, we can look deeper into personality and the different personality types. Quick reminder, here they are all arranged around the circle. I've mentioned in previous videos the lines. So I won't go into too much detail about that now, but just to remind you that type 1, these all have little names. Type 1 is the reformer. Type 2 is the helper. Type 3 is the achiever. Type 4, the romantic. Type 5 down here, the observer, which we looked at last time. Today we'll be thinking about type 6, the loyal skeptic, the only one with 2 names connected with it. Type 7 is the adventurer, type 8 the asserter, and type 9 the peacemaker. They're all arranged around a circle. The circle represents all of us. We're all in there. And hopefully these little videos will help you to find which personality type you particularly identify with. That's where we're going with these at the moment. Helping you to find yourself, helping you to find your family members and friends, helping you to understand yourself, to understand others, and to grow with compassion and kindness, again towards self and kindness towards others. That's the Enneagram as a whole. A few years ago, I went to Dublin to an Enneagram conference with a very renowned teacher, Russ Hudson. And he started this weekend, this weekend conference with 2 quite startling statements. And I shall mention them now. His first statement, other than saying welcome to this Enneagram conference, was, he said, the Enneagram tells you what you're not. And that kind of, I was beginning to think about those kind of things anyway over this time, but it still, when he said it in that way, still came as a bit of a jolt. And I can hear all your comments. Aren't you telling us about who we are? Why are you suddenly telling us that this is about who we're not? That's a strange thing to say. I've hinted at this in an earlier talk. I think it was thinking about type 2, the helper, when I produced a mask from a mask, the kind of mask that would be used in Greek theatre. And I said the word personality comes from this word persona, that through which comes sound. And it's the idea of the actor speaking through the mask. And there is this kind of idea that personality is something of a mask that we put on to make sense of life, to make sense of the world. Almost, if you like, something we use to measure the world that we are in. Not so much the world itself, not so much who we are, but something we use to gauge how we respond to other people, how we respond to the world in which we're in. Much more to come about this in the future, but I'm just putting this out now to get into people's minds this idea that personality may just be something of what we are, certainly not the whole. Well, that was the first thing he said. And the second thing he said to everybody there was to all types, he said, I want you to take special note of point 6 on the Enneagram. And again, me as a 5 thinking, why? And he said, he explained it straight away. He said, type 6 is the point of courage. The type where courage is important. And he said the word courage comes from the French word coeur, which means heart. To encourage is to enhearten somebody. So we're not describing here the heart of the romantic. We're describing the heart of the brave and the courageous. And we'll see why that's important. Really not, it's very important for those who are identifiers with a type 6 personality. But it's important for us all, and we'll get to that shortly. For now, the type 6 is the only one that has this sort of double name, the Loyal Skeptic. And eventually we'll get to the courage bit, but I want to just very briefly explore these two words, loyal and skeptic. Type 6s are nothing if not loyal. They are steady, solid, reliable people, loyal to the company, the kind who are there for 40 years and collect the gold watch and the accolades at the end because they have been faithful. They've stuck to their task through thick and thin. There have been changes all around, but they have done their job, stood by their desk and stood by their post and done their duty. Dutiful people, duty first, then relax. That's kind of motto of the 6. Highly conscientious people. They are problem solvers. We noted last time that type 5s are called the observer. Well, generally, type 6s are much more observant than type 5s, but they're more observant in a different kind of way. Type 5s will look to know, to understand, to explore knowledge and wisdom for its own sake. The type 6 is alert for security, safety. Believe me, the world would not exist without type 6s. We'd have killed ourselves off long ago without the solid type 6 mentality that keeps us safe, that looks out for trouble and looks out how to put things right and make things safe, to smooth things over. Problem solvers, but can be indecisive. We shall see with the type 6, there's a kind of seesaw element to the type 6. Can be this, can be this, can be something else. Can be decisive, but can be a little bit indecisive. The need to check everything out. Is it safe? Is it working? Are we secure? They will often expect things to go wrong, especially when it comes to technology. We think technology releases us from all kinds of troubles. The 6 will say, it's going to go wrong. Something will happen. It will go wrong. I'm here to put it right. And they'll be on the lookout. So it can be more observant than the 5, but maybe just observe different things, or perhaps, fairer to say, observe it in a different way. Attention is given to safety and security. I may have mentioned briefly that the Enneagram can describe more than individual personalities. It can describe the kind of nature, the feel of a company, of an organization, of a whole country. It's my kind of vague contention that Britain, where we are here, is a type 6 country. I think, now I may be wrong, and please make a big discussion of that in the comments below. Let's start the discussion where you think we are. For me, I think we have become very, very health and safety conscious. We're very, very alert as a nation to all kinds of things going wrong. You've just got to fly into any UK airport. If you've been somewhere else, the health and safety notices are everywhere. Now, I'm not saying that's bad at all. I think there's a lot of positive things about that. Just for the moment, that's where I think we are as a nation. Do correct me if you feel that's wrong. So anyway, the 6 is loyal to all of this, to the solid commitment to the relationship, to the workforce, to the job, to the task, all of those things. Very kind of down-to-earth, get-on-with-it type of people. So where does the skeptical side come in, the loyal skeptic? 6s like to know who's in charge. They join a company, they like to know who's in charge. How is this being run? How is this being organised? They like to have somebody over them who's competent, who knows what they're doing. And if the 6 feels that they don't, they can be quite sceptical about that person, about the institution, about the structures of the organisation. And it can be quite nitpicky, quite picky, quite critical if things are not going smoothly, if things are not going quite right. A little bit different to the 1 who is the reformer. The 1 will see things and they will feel it's their job to put it right. For the 6, it's not quite like that. They'll just see things going wrong. They'll do their bit, but they won't feel it's their particular responsibility. It's up to management. It's up to the structure, the organisation of a whole to make sure it's working. And 6s thrive in that kind of environment. They're sceptical of authority. So it's like needing authority, but sceptical. Needing the rules to work with, but sceptical of them, and won't necessarily stick to them. And they might say, do these bosses know what they're doing? Does this organisation know where it's heading? And they kind of explore those kind of things. So there we are, the loyal skeptic. The type 6 who knows the rules and sticks to them doesn't really need courage in that circumstance. They just get on and do it. So, but for the 6 generally, the world is not a particularly safe place. As I said, there's always something that they suspect might go wrong, something that might happen. So in characteristic of the types 5, 6 and 7, these are in the Enneagram what we call the head types, or the mind types, thinking types. 8, 9, 1, the body types, people who or take action, about doing, getting things done. 2, 3, and 4 are heart types, about connecting with the other. 5, 6, and 7 are in the head, the thinking types. And very often, 5, 6, and 7 will have a fear. So it's the 8, 9, 1 tend towards having issues around anger. 2, 3, and 4 often issues around image. So like to be seen, to be successful in the case of the 3. The 5, 6, 7 have issues with fear, and you'll see that 6 is right in the middle of the fear triad. And they will feel fearful. The world is not solid, it's not safe, it's not secure. It needs them to keep it safe. So fear is quite an important element in many type 6s. However, realizing the fear that can go on in the 6, to succeed, to grow, to get out there to do the job, for the 6 requires often the most immense courage. If you're fighting and battling with a world that's not secure, they are battling with with courage issues, and this is where they are capable of incredible courage. A 6 who overthinks and sticks to the rules in an emergency will stick to the rules and be very, very cautious. A 6 in an emergency who doesn't think of the rules will just forget that and dive in and rescue the child, or save the person, or save the animal that's in trouble without thinking about it, just doing it. This can have 6s are sometimes described as either having phobic or counterphobic characteristics, and both can be there, either one or the other, or both within the one. But these are incredible. This sense of courage is there to be seen. And just to say now, we wonder why the teacher in Dublin referred all of us to this courage. Really what he was saying is that the Enneagram is about perhaps slotting into one or other of these types. We find ourselves in one or other of these types, but the lines are all about movement, changing, growing, developing, making ourselves better requires courage. We get into habits and fixations and patterns so easily, and to break out of them, to do something different, to think differently, can take the most immense courage. This is why Russ Hudson directed us towards that. The 6 who's nervous needs courage to move across to the 3, to say, yes, we can do it, we can do it. Other journeys around the Enneagram are vitally important. David White, in his book Consolations, says this: courage is the measure of our heartfelt participation with life, with another, with a community, a work, a future. Courage is what love looks like when tested by the simple, everyday necessities of being alive. Look forward to seeing you next time.